Happy Monday, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the one most concerning thing for carnivores and pretty much anyone following any kind of low-carb lifestyle. There is one vitamin deficiency that we need to be aware of, and it's a big one. So stay tuned for that. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Semi-Retired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem super exciting, but if you consider 2.5 years ago I couldn't do this, I could barely stand for a couple of minutes without severe pain, then it becomes a bit more interesting. Oh, that wind's a little chilly. It is a beautiful day here in Omaha, Nebraska. As you can see, the sun is shining. Not a lot of movement on the street yet. I'm guessing everybody that had to go to work went to work. And those of you that are in the areas that got hit by a storm yesterday, I hope you stay inside, stay safe. But it is a wonderful, balmy It's 5 degrees. We'll wait till the noisy truck and trailer go by. It's 5 degrees out here, folks. It's supposed to warm up to about 15 or 16 today, so it's not going to be too bad. But, yeah. 5 is nice. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It makes me happy that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. Been a while since I've been out in this cold weather. I'm about halfway up that long hill I start with. But I would like to ask everyone to help me out as I pick up the pace a little bit going up this hill. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40. Like out here, walking fast. I'm not going as fast as I have, but it is only 5 degrees out. Actually, not too bad once you get used to it. Of course, I've got multiple layers on today. I finally got my long johns out. Whew. Sorry, it's kind of tough walking up this hill. I'm going to go ahead and slow back down to my normal pace as I approach the stop sign at the top of the hill. You know, it's amazing what our bodies can do when we stop dumping poison into them and just start feeding it the right stuff. And that's that corner where I turn to the north, and I'm on top of that hill, so the wind is hitting me in the face pretty good. But yeah, getting out here and walking in these temperatures is actually really good for us, provided you don't have any lung problems. I know I coughed a little bit when I got started there, but now that I've adjusted, I think it's getting a little better. But the reason I'm out here walking in 5-degree weather is so that I can talk to you guys And hopefully, you seeing me, this old guy that has been so sick for most of his life, out here walking in 5-degree weather, although that sun is beautiful. Hopefully, that can inspire you just a little bit to say, you know, if Bob can get out and walk in that, maybe I really can walk a few laps around my living room, or whatever type of exercise you think you might want to do today. But anyway, I promised you a discussion on the most common vitamin that carnivores are deficient in. I see it all the time. All you have to do is read any Facebook group, especially today because it's the 6th of January. So it's been World Carnivore Month for 6 whole days now. And this vitamin deficiency is starting to show up already. So you have to guard against it and make sure that you're not deficient in vitamin P. I know those of you that watch my channel regularly were expecting that. But for those that are new to the channel and you're asking yourself, Bob, what the heck is vitamin P? Vitamin P is patience. I saw a post earlier, it was last night, which one of the things that caused me to do this, even though I was sort of planning on doing this at some point. I saw a post in a fairly popular carnivore Facebook group. And the person said, I don't get it. I thought carnivore was supposed to help me lose weight. Here I am 5 days in, and I've only lost a pound. I'm like, what? You've lost a whole pound in 5 days? And you're complaining about that? There are people, Kelly Hogan, who started this diet without even really knowing, with no support or anything. And because her doctor had actually told her about this, she spent about 6 months gaining weight before she lost anything. And look at her today. She's a CrossFit athlete. You'd be hard pressed to find any fat on her. But just have some patience, because this will work. We don't get to choose. I just talked about this recently. You know, we don't get to choose what heals first. You know, that would be great if my body had a little digital readout on it and I could say, focus all your effort on losing that last 20 pounds that I'd really like to get rid of around my middle. And please focus on all that loose skin underneath my chin that still makes my face look fat. But we don't get to choose. I don't know what it is, But I'm sure, because I had, almost 59 years of horrible diet, mostly following the directions of my doctor and his dietitians. So, my body's trying to make up for 59 years of abuse. So I have no idea what's going on, but I'm sure something is getting better, which is why it's still hanging on to the loose skin on my chin and the 20 or so pounds around my belly that I would actually like to get rid of at some point. But if I don't, like I've said before, I can hardly argue with the results. 2.5 years ago, I could barely stand up. And now I'm able to get out here in 5-degree weather and walk around this 1.5-mile loop with you guys along for the ride. I've really got nothing to complain about. But they say we are our own worst critics. Which brings me to one more point I want to talk about really quick. Because there was somebody, I don't remember what group it was in or when it was, but they're talking about their lab results and how they felt fine. But this number was a little low and this number was a little high. So they had to make some adjustments to the way they were doing their diet to get those numbers back in range. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. It's how we have been conditioned over the last however many decades to judge our health by a set of numbers from the doctor's office. So even though we feel fine now, I know there are some things out there that we can't feel that can greatly affect our health. And by the time we can feel them, it might be too late to do something about it. But this whole notion of working on our diet to satisfy some random set of numbers. Like I said, I know where that comes from, but now that I know more, it baffles me a little bit. Because even if one or two of my numbers are out of whack, the things that matter most are right in line. What matters most, I can get out here in 5-degree weather and walk around the block. And not just a little block. This big block that I take is 1.5 miles. I feel better than I've felt in decades. Now, could I have some numbers out of whack? Oh, probably so. But then when you look at what's considered normal, you'd think that they have all these guys in long white lab coats sitting around running test after test after test to decide what a normal level on a lab result looks like. But that's not what happens. Whoever puts out these lists of labs decides, well, we should probably update Lab X today. So we call up all of the doctors in our network and say, hey, could you send us your results of every Lab X you've run for the last month? And they collect all that data and they plot it all out on a bell chart, and boom, right down the middle, there you go. That's what the average lab should be. Not taking into account that, number one, if all those people went to their doctor, they don't feel good for some reason. There may be a few that are there for their annual checkup, but predominantly they all feel bad in one way or another. And I would have to guess 95 to 98%. Now, that's just a guess, but a vast majority of the people taking that test for Lab X are probably eating a standard American diet full of carbs and seed oils and highly processed chemical crap. And that, of course, has an effect on their lab results. And the outliers, the ones that are really high or really low, that make up the ends of the bell curve, that might be where you find the people that are eating a proper human diet. Am I saying don't go to the doctor? No, I'm not allowed to say that. Am I saying never get your labs checked? Nope, I'm not allowed to say that either. What I am allowed to say is, why are you chasing numbers instead of chasing how you feel? Well, I have certainly rambled on enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and continue my journey around this big block. I'll flip the camera around. We'll play a little music. And I'll have a few more thoughts on this when we get back up to the house. cut the music. Thank you. So the main point of today's message is waiting for yet another car to pass. Don't get so caught up in what everybody else is doing and the results that other people have had. Maintain your levels of vitamin P so that you know eventually everything is going to work out just fine. Are you going to get the exact results you wanted? No, probably not. Maybe not. Maybe you will. But we're only in day 6 of World Carnivore Month. Hang in there. At least get through these 30 days without letting vitamin P deficiency get to you, and see where you're at the end of January. The results might surprise even the most negative of you. And stop chasing lab results. That's just crazy. Again, do I think you shouldn't be getting lab work done? I'm not allowed to say that you shouldn't be going to the doctor or any of that stuff, but I haven't had my lab results checked in quite some time because I feel great. I feel better than I've felt in decades. I might even feel better than I did when I first got booted out of the Army, because I have to admit, that's all I ever really wanted to do. So I spent the first couple of years out of the Army pretty depressed. But here we are. It's January the 6th. Hopefully some of what I said today made sense. Keep up your levels of vitamin P with a positive attitude. Know that this is going to work for you. And don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.